All right, what is up, everyone? Frittz here with another episode of Sneakerhead Ambition, and today I've got a tutorial for you. I'm going to do a couple of these and a couple of bot tutorials, just general tutorials over the next about month. Drops are going to start heating up again mid-July, and then fall. Late summer, fall seems to be like there's going to be a good amount of drops for Jordan at least, and we should have Yeezys coming up. But neither here nor there. Today I'm going to be going over a tutorial for AYCD. So this is a major tool that is pretty much indispensable if you want to, do this at any meaningful scale, or if you want to be efficient with your time. So I'm going to be breaking this down today. Full disclosure, I am sponsored by them, but also full disclosure, I've been using this tool for about 5 years now, 4 of which I was not sponsored. So yes, I am. Check out the info section below for all of the information on this tool, and we'll get into this now, and I'll go over everything in it, or everything generally in it, and why you need it, and how to use it. Okay, so starting off, right, obviously you're going to go down here, click on AYCD toolbox, right, open it up. This is going to pop up. I'll just start off with this. Every now and then I've got an issue where it's, you're trying to open this up, and it says another instance is already running. I know this is silly to some of y'all, but just go down here, right, click on this. Bam. Okay, so before I get in, the main things I'm going to be covering today are one-click and the profile builder. All right, I will touch on spoof, generator, and what these other things are, but these are the main two that I'm going to be discussing today. But starting off, right, what is AYCD? I've heard speculation it's called acid. I don't know. I call it AYCD. But it's essentially a tool to help you streamline the effectiveness of your botting operation, right? From farming your Gmails to mass exporting, importing, and manipulating all your billing profiles, having one place to make all of your capture requests flow through. So if you're running multiple bots, you're not jumping around. Easily import all of your VCC information from the actual providers, right? All of these things, too, I will say this multiple times during this video, I didn't really see the need for this initially so much, because I was like, well, I've only got 5-10 profiles. Like, I'll just put them in the bot. Why do I need to put them in AYCD? As you scale up and you get more virtual credit cards and you're moving it around, profiles around from server to server, from bot to bot, you really need this tool, because it cuts down on, again, the time it takes to do these things exponentially, right? Again, if you only are uploading 2 profiles, sure, you can move those around pretty easily, I guess, and it doesn't take that much time. But the second you get to like 20, 30, 40 profiles, right, manually entering those once, right, is fine, right? Obviously, we all got to do it once, but doing that over and over again is insanity, right? So, like I said, this really is an indispensable tool if you're going to bot, and most of us get into botting to try to scale it, right? I guess there are people out there who run bots to try to hit a pair or two for themselves, cover their expenses, and just kind of make it a way to be able to get shoes. But I think that's increasingly rare. So just know that you're going to need this tool if you're going to accomplish your goals in this. Like I said, it just doesn't seem like a big deal at first, but I'll get into everything today. And then, like I said, right, you've got one click. This is just a general overview before we get in this. One click is where you're going to basically farm your Gmails. So if you don't know what farming is, you can have Gmails that you purchase and you can farm them, which means to make them look like they are generating real activity. All right, so I'll get into that more in a little bit, but you can farm on there. And this is also where you will feed. So if you're running a site like say Shopify, where you got to solve captchas, right? Let's say that you are running 3 different bots. Excuse me, early in the morning here. Let's say you're running 3 different bots. With this tool, you can feed all 3 bots through here so that you've got one central location so that there's less to look at, okay? So those are the 2 main things with one click. Profile builder, right, is going to be just generally where you build your profiles, change the address manipulation, import, export, right? That's where you're going to do pretty much all of that. Spoof is basically like you can open up a bunch of browsers, put proxies in them, and have like a, not makeshift bot, but something that opens up more browsers than typical. And it also lets you spoof your location, right? So let's say Nike's doing like a drop where you've got to have coordinates in and be within a certain distance. You can spoof your coordinates in there, all right? And then generator, you can generate different servers on there, save the information on there, generate cookies, right? So it really is just a tool for all of the little needs, right? Is this a bot in and of itself? No, right? You can't really get AYCD and say that you're botting, but if you're going to bot, you need to really have AYCD, right? I guess, like I said, if you're going to run AYCD and just run one task with a couple cards, do you need it? No. But if you're getting into this to really bot and try to hit 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pairs, you will need this. There is essentially no other game in town. There used to be, I don't even know if there still is, but there used to be a couple competitors. But just take my word for it. Get this. We'll get into specifics now, but get this tool. You're going to need it. If you watch my video on how to budget appropriately, this isn't in the first tier. I just posted one of those like a week ago, a couple of days ago. But the second you've had any success and kind of know what you're doing and have hit a couple pairs of shoes, like just total, this is a must. Get into the specifics of each one of these. Now, I will say this before we get in here. You can try these proxies. I'm not going to stop you. Go for it. Right? Go for it. None of them work. So, yeah, here, I'll leave this here. Okay. Now, we'll go with this. Sure, why not? Right? You can try these proxies. I do not care. Okay. Now, what do we have here? Essentially, right, this is where you're going to be putting in Gmails, okay? So like I said, if some of this doesn't make sense, you got to watch some other videos and learn a little more. I'm really going to try to just make this for the people who are trying to use AYCD. Okay, so I've got a bunch of Gmails, right? A bunch of Gmails. With that, right, if you're botting, you need the Gmails to trick the bots into thinking that a person with a legit Gmail address is trying to check out the shoes and solving captchas, okay? So what you're seeing here under accounts, right, is essentially my Gmails with a proxy on them, and this is where you would farm them, okay? Now, again, you can try using these proxies, right? I'm not going to stop y'all. I hope y'all know by now I'm smart enough to not have this up. I have this up purposely on one of the instance I don't use, right? You can see the AJ11 here, like this is September of 2022. I haven't used this in a minute, right? So just know that. And a lot of this isn't going to work, so I can't really show it to you because the proxies don't work and the Gmails are shot and all good. But let's say that I put in, whatever, 15, 14 Gmails, okay? I would have purchased them somewhere else. You can maybe get them from friends and family. Maybe you've got a couple. But basically, you're going to put them in here. and you're going to attach a proxy, okay? You're going to go over here, right? You make a proxy list. All right, go in here, create. All right, and then I put proxies in, right, enter them, and then I've got right here, okay? So first you need a list of proxies. Now, for proxies, right, you need ISPs. If you don't use ISPs, you're going to run through all your data. But you need ISPs. They can be ISPs that you use for sneakers. They could be ISPs. I'm really sorry I keep going on. They could be ISPs that you use for other sites. Whatever the case may be, you're going to come here. You're going to add an account, right? Add your email, add the password, add all of this here, okay? You create. Now, once I've inputted all of these, I would see something like this. Now, I want to keep stressing. I didn't see the point when I started off with like 5 Gmails, and due to Yeezy Supply not being a thing, the Gmail count is way down, right? For a while, I had like 300-400 Gmails because for Yeezy Supply in 2022, that's what you needed, because we were running like 20,000, or I was running like 20,000 tasks, and that's, you know, people were running way more than that. People were running way less, but you needed a lot of Gmails. You don't need quite as many now, but really try to keep them organized. Don't just put them all there, right? Like, okay, where are we? And again, you can think you're slick, but I'm just telling you, none of this shit works. These emails are all toast. Yeah, but anywho, you're going to be on here, and you're going to get this set up. Now, you come over here, go to farming, start farming, okay? When you start farming, you should see this pop up and have it be, you know, say reading or watching YouTube, reading news, reading this. It's going to take the proxy, stick with the same proxy. Don't redo this every time. Pick an ISP and stick with it until that range is done. And from there, you'll farm, right? I would go to settings over here, and I would, you know, make sure it's not farming 24/7 or whatever, and just leave it on that schedule. And you should be good. Just let them run. It usually takes, if they're new Gmails, it usually takes a week, 2 weeks or so before the rating here becomes an A or an S, all right? I think S is for super duper, right? And an A is, yay, you got an A. Okay. Now, when testing, right, I'm just going to go through a couple of these, right? Notice how it said for a second there, 24/7, right? If you want to get an S, right, you need to check your V2, so you could run that, and it would check and it'd give you a score. Now, don't test these. Oh, I'm really sorry I keep yawning, guys. I'm really not trying to. Don't test these over and over and over again, right? Test them and wait at least 24 hours to test them again. Don't do this over and over again. So I could test this, wait like 36 hours, right? Farm it in the meantime, come back here again. Notice it says once every 24 hours. Yes, and then I would do a V3 score, and I'd do it again. After you've done both of those within a week, I think the ratings stick around for a week total. After you've done both of those, you'll see your score here. You want an A or an S, ideally, you know, go from there. But if you don't hit those scores yet, could be proxy quality, make sure you've got good ISPs. Could be taking a while because, you know, your Gmails aren't good. It does matter. Oh my gosh. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm really not trying to like stand up here in a second if I don't stop yawning. But long story short, right, this is where you're going to be. Now, that's all you really need for the farming piece, all right? The big one here is going to be auto-solve, okay? This is really why people get this. The farming is necessary, but, you know, well, I mean, the farming is necessary. If you're going to do this at scale, you need it. But anyways, auto-solve, okay. This is where you're going to feed all the information in, and this is the big one, right? Especially for Shopify. So you will have to load up on AYCD's website. You are going to have to load up the information, right, that is here, okay? You can go to dashboard, right, and that's going to take you to their website. Now, on the website, or, whoa, did they, oh, they added this. Okay, I haven't added anything this in so long. Uh-huh. Okay, cool. You can just add the stuff down here, right? You can only, I think you can only have like 10 bots. You can add these in here, right? Very nice little feature. So, you'll add your bots here, you'll add your solvers here. For the most part right now, AYCD AutoSolve is what we're after. So I'm going to stick to that. But what you're going to do, right, and you need to, really pay attention to what your bot says, because with CAPTCHA solving, again, we're talking about AutoSolve now. So that is addressing how to solve CAPTCHAs with AYCD, where you're sending all of the CAPTCHAs here for AI, right? We all, and again, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make this for everybody, but y'all know CAPTCHAs pop up. It's like, click the dog, yeah, right? You can only click so many dogs at once, right? So this has an AI feature that allows you to do a bunch of those at once at scale, solving like 50, 100 in a couple seconds. If you really got the thing cooking and got your Gmails in here. But you're going to select AutoSolve AI. All right. Have all these other ones off. And what you would do then, right, is you would come back here. You would stop farming these, right? So let's say that I want to run these 5, right? I would come over here and I would hit Start AutoSolve. Okay. That is different from start farming. Farming is how you make the Gmails look real and you leave it running in the background. Test reCAPTCHA is how you test to see the score. Start AutoSolve is how you get them to start solving your CAPTCHAs. Okay. You want to turn these on before you fire up your bot tasks, then start your bot task. Okay. I would do warm up with some activity. I wouldn't skip that, right? And you would hit start. If everything is correct and you've got your proxies in right and you're signed into your Gmails and your Gmails are good, this is going to warm up for a second under status, and then it's going to say waiting to solve. Okay? From here, you can see down here, primary solver, yada, yada, yada. It's going to tell you down here what's going on, how many requests you have in, right? How many it's solving at the moment, how many it's solved. You have all that information there. This should jump to primary when you're using AI. All right, now, I don't have any connections in here because this is not my main AYCD, right? My main one is on another server, like I said. But let's say that I've got a Wrath and a Valor hooked up to AYCD. They would pop up here, right? It would say Valor, the key, and the time that it connected, okay? If you, again, we're on AutoSolve now, the tab. If you don't see anything here, 99% of the time, you're not connected and it's not going to work. All right, there are a couple bots that don't connect and say connect until they've started running. But more or less, right, like your bot should tell you that and you can ask them, but like you need to see the bots here. If you don't see them, you did something wrong when connecting the bot. Remember, too, that this AYCD, this whole thing, has a key in and of itself that you would get from the website. So you would go to aycd.com, and it has a key and a access token. Let me see if I can open up. You would go to, so like if I wanted to run it on Valor, you'd go to Valor, and you'd have to go into Valor and the CAPTCHA settings. You would have to put in the AYCD key, kind of like you had to put in the Valor key to get it here, right? So both the bot and AYCD need to exchange information, which you do, so that they pop up here under connections, right? That's kind of self-explanatory, but I'm really trying to lay this out for y'all. Okay. Now, let's say we're connected here, right? Our account say waiting to solve here. And let's say we start the task. Bam. Okay. This is where, under requests, that you should see stuff start to pop up. You can watch down here to see, and you can see how many have solved here, but you should be seeing requests pop up here. Again, nothing is popping up here because I haven't used this instance in a long time, and more importantly, I'm not running any tasks. So stuff should be popping up here. Okay. This should, like I mentioned, just solve all of the CAPTCHAs in the background for you automatically. I do want to remind you that there are some types of CAPTCHAs that this will not solve for you unless there is a solver open in your bot. So for instance, Valor has one, I think it's HCAP, I could be wrong, I have to read up on these every now and then too. But where like this isn't enough just to have open and running, you need within Valor, you need to open up solvers and then it'll solve for you, right? So there's a decent amount going on here, right? I'm not going to touch on any of this stuff. I'm really just trying to touch on the basics here to cover you and make sure that you know what's going on. There are more tools, right? SMS, mail. SMS is for like if you're using number codes to generate accounts and everything. There's more to this, but I'm just trying to give you the general overview, and I think that pretty much covers it. So this is where, again, you will round up all of your Gmail data that you're going to use to trick these CAPTCHAs into thinking that you're a real person that's always using their Gmail. And then this is how you're going to get these to flow through. Okay, so that should cover your bases. Let me know if you got any questions on this part. And now we will move on to the profile build. Okay, and we're back. So we're going to start off with, or move on with profile builder now. So I click on that, and bam, here we are. So basically, right, this is just a place to organize all of your card info. I highly recommend using categories. Again, if you've only got 2 cards at the start of this, no big deal, right? But I would still recommend, making categories and having, even if you've got 2 cards, or if you, let's say you've got like 10 virtual credit cards, right? You can put 10 of them in here with foot sites. That's one type of jig. Shopify, sneakers, maybe DSG, Nordstrom's, right? Whatever you're running, the jigs are different, right? And you can just start using this and learning it and being more efficient, okay? Another thing that I highly recommend that I do, I have several different Discord accounts because I think that Discord makes it very easy and quick to exchange information between the servers without having to log into my email a bunch of different places, right? So I would recommend that. I've got, a Discord on my home PC on each one of my servers, and it makes sending this information very easy, okay? Now, the big one, right, is once you start getting more profiles, or let's say you're running ACO for people, you're going to want to import data into here, right? So basically, right, you'd hit import, and it has all of the different types of bot formatting on here, okay? So mostly for me, right, importing, I'm going to be doing either AYCD or CSV or Google Sheet form, right? I would hit there, I'd go here, I'd find the list, right, wherever I downloaded it, other downloads, and then import it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I'm yawning. Now I'd import it, and it would pop up under AYCD import. If I did it for CSV Google Sheet, it would pop up under CSV Google Sheet import, okay? So there you go. Now, once those get in here, okay, you can edit fairly quickly, but the best way to edit some of this stuff, right, is, let me see if I can get, the best way to edit some of this stuff, I think, is if you're going to export, right, so like let's say, is going to be come here, export, and go to this, right? So if I do that, okay, I export it. Now I'm going to pop this up. And as you can see, right, we've got all the info here, okay? So this, to me, is easier to edit things, right, than going into each one of these and editing. Okay, so that's one quick way to edit. The other thing that I would say is that, let's say that you're having to do a jig, okay? This makes it really easy because you can come here and once you, let's say that you want to do 5 of these, okay? Edit, jig, right here, right? You can pick how to do this, okay? So number of jigs for each profile, you can say 1, right? You can pick, you know, address, billing address, right? Just that. You can make sure, right? You got advanced options, name, first name, right? You can have it jig the addresses, the email address, all that stuff. Here, right? It's going to have on line 1, 3 characters before, right? That works for Yeezy Supply. This can save you a ton of time, all right? And now you would hit this, right? And it would give you a new folder with those addresses, with those added to it, right? This can save you a ton of time if you're doing like several hundred jigs, right? Critical if you're doing this at scale. So you can, now I want to point out too, if I was doing sneakers, right? Sneakers, you can't just smack some old, generic jig on an address and have it work and go from there, right? You need to really switch it up. So for that, right, I would do the export, right? Go to Google Form, and that's going to make it easier. Right? Then you import it back in, and you'll have a folder. Okay. From there, right, you come down here, you have virtual cards. This is a great tool because you can import, right, from all these different types, okay? Capital One, Stripe, Citi, Amex, Divvy, right? All of those. You can go in there, you can log in, and it'll just spit back out all of your virtual credit cards. That is a godsend to those of us who, for a long time, had to just manually transport everything over. That was hell. So this is a great tool, right? I've been rambling on now for a little while, but this is an outstanding tool. It really helps streamline the process of everything. Save what you do over here. It's outstanding. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Let me bring this back up real quick. Right, and like I said, for spoof, you're going to essentially be just pulling up browser windows that you can spoof your location, right? So for sneakers, sneaker stash and things like that, if you are out of the area but would drive there to pick up, you could use that. Spoof your location, make it seem like you're right outside the door. This also lets you, the generator, right, lets you save server information, generate servers, have all of that at one location so you can more easily sign in, sign out. Just streamlining the process, right? That's what I would say with this whole thing, is it just makes everything easier, faster, and more efficient. So I can't recommend this highly enough. I really do think that you should get this the second that you have any success whatsoever, right? The second that you break even the first month or two, that you turn a profit, I think that this is something that you need to learn how to use if you're going to keep scaling this up. I highly recommend it. If you run ACO, right, this is imperative to have this to organize all the information from people. But yeah, that's kind of it. So, also with the accounts, right, this does have an account organizer, so like you can generate account activity for Nike sneakers accounts. You can keep all that information in one place. But like I said, this is pretty much your hub of botting, right? Like this is where all your information is, all your Gmails, this is where you run all your captchas through. Obviously you have the bots, obviously you're on Discord getting information, but this is really where you funnel all of the information and resources you get through. So definitely get this. Like I said, I do work with them, but as I did mention, I've been working with them for like not even a year, and I've been using this tool for almost 5 years now. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, it really kind of is a monopoly almost. It's the only game in town. Get this. There's really no point in trying anything else out. I know Code Essentials was a thing for a while, but get this. It's better. So per usual, you will need proxies, you will need Gmails, you will need accounts to use this. Just quick shout out to my sponsors, AYCD being one of them. Definitely check out the information section below. I've got links, Discord, discount codes for AYCD, and then also for anything else y'all would need, proxies, servers, Gmails, accounts, bot rentals, whatever it is. Look down there, all reputable companies. I highly recommend them. I work with all of them. I use all of them myself, so get yourself some. And other than that, I think that's kind of it. Check back in the next couple days. Like I said, I'll be doing some more bot tutorials and some more just general information on botting that I haven't touched on in a while. I'm going to do a proxy episode. I'm going to do a virtual credit card episode. I might touch on servers for a second, but all in all, just keep checking back. We do have drops that should be kind of starting to heat up come midway, end of July. And then heading into the fall, we do have a good amount of solid drops coming up. So, enjoy your summer. Keep fine-tuning your skill set, your setup. And check back in the next couple of days. I'll have another video up. And until next time, see ya.